Welcome back to the Democrates channel. I've got quite the video for today, fellas. This one's going to be mostly focused on the young men out there. Don't worry. Young ladies can probably gather something from this video, but mostly I'm going to be focusing on young men for this one. And this is another dating video, dating related video, dating adjacent video for all of you out there. And today what we're going to be talking about, as I mentioned at the beginning, is the fear of rejection. Something that I've noticed a lot of young men posting on my content, especially with the stuff that I've posted on TikTok from my clips that I've taken out of my YouTube videos, is that I've noticed a lot of them talk about feeling afraid of getting rejected for talking about who they are. And so the first question here is, are you guys really struggling that much with the fear of rejection? I'm curious. Leave me a comment down below because I'm really genuinely curious how many people are struggling with this issue right now. But I do want to address this concern that a lot of young men seem to have. So the fear of rejection is kind of the end-all be-all for young men. I think that young men are constantly concerned that they aren't good enough for the women that they're talking to. They're very, very, very scared. Not the best situation to be in. And obviously it's going to limit people's ability to socialize properly in a healthy way with women or men, who whatever you're into. But I want to talk about maybe a little bit about understanding this fear of rejection, and also how to maybe get over it a little bit and pursue that partner that you're looking for. So the first thing is that we've got to understand the nature of the beast here. What the hell do I mean when I say fear of rejection? I'm talking about that heart-pumping, eyeball-busting feeling that you get when you see a girl that you like and you want to ask her out, but you just cannot bring yourself to do it. That is the fear of rejection. You're scared that she's gonna say no. So, one of the reasons that I think that men have this fear so aggressively is because of the way that women have been portrayed recently in social media and just media in general as being these cold-hearted bitches who are out to make your day terrible, reject you, say no, call you a fucker, and kick you in the nuts too while they're at it. But I am here to break it to you, the unfortunate reality, that not all women are, in fact, cold, hard bitches that want to take all of your money, kick you in the balls, and run. They don't care about you. That's kind of the main thing I want to highlight here. You shouldn't be afraid of them rejecting you because they're just a stranger and it will not have a lasting impact on your life to be rejected by a woman. It won't unless you allow it to. So, the first thing that I want to talk about here is that you as a young man are afraid of rejection, partially because you're afraid of what it will do to you, how it will feel, how it will hurt. The hurt is what a lot of young men really focus on here. These are things that you have given these women the power to hold over you. If you do not allow women to have this power over you, they cannot wield it over you. So, let's get into this and discuss a little bit of the ways that maybe you can dodge around and get around talking to women without being scared and pissing yourself. So it can be daunting to jump in and just talk about not being afraid of women anymore. It's not the easiest thing. You don't just say, I'm not afraid of women anymore, and then you're not. It's a pretty big fear to overcome for a lot of young men, but it is something that you do have to face and you do have to overcome. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the power of self-discovery, baby. I talk about it in every video about dating, but it's time for you to discover who you really are. The power of self-discovery knows no ends. The reason that you are afraid of rejection, your fear of rejection, it really is coming from a place of uncertainty. You're uncertain what will happen if you tell this girl that you like her. You are uncertain of what will happen if she rejects you. Will you feel humiliated? Will you feel a loss of power? Will you feel a loss of control? Will it ruin a relationship that you've already developed with somebody? There's a lot of things that you could be afraid of and uncertain about when you go into a situation like that. However, preparedness is the enemy of fear. Okay, so follow me on this one. Being more prepared to have this conversation, being more practiced to have a conversation with somebody that you're interested in is the only, I'm not going to say only, the best way to get out of that uncertainty pile. The more experience that you have, the more confident you are in your experience, and the better you know yourself, the less uncertain you will be of what will happen. So the thing that we really want to address here with self-discovery is you need to know who you are. And I know you're great. Everyone who is watching this video is phenomenal at something. You are great in your own special way. However, what I've noticed is that a lot of young men are scared of a lot of young women to talk to them because they're afraid of the rejection. They're afraid that they're not good enough. Their hobbies aren't interesting enough. They aren't good enough. You're good enough. I promise you, you really are. There's nothing special about any of these people out here who has a girlfriend or has a wife. There's nothing special about them. Everybody's cool. It's just how you phrase it. And for these guys, they're typically less practiced. They're the ones who maybe in high school weren't brave enough to go and ask their crush out. They're the ones who didn't get that experience of getting to go out on a date with a girl. And that's becoming a more and more and more and more common story for young men, especially in the United States, that they're just not getting the practice with speaking to women that we've had in years past. Like in the 1950s, men would just go up to girls and say, hey, I like you, you want to go to the dance with me, and things like that. And they'd be nervous, but they wouldn't be pissing themselves and being super scared of these young women. And I think that that's because there's a bigger focus back then, especially in the 1960s, on things like self-love and humanism. And when I say humanism, I'm talking about the act of self-discovery as a human. You treat yourself like a human. You respect yourself as a human. And something that I've been seeing a lot of young men really drift away from is the self-respect part. Young men, they hate themselves for some reason right now. And I think that a part of that reason is that in a lot of media, women are portrayed as kind of scary. You know, like you have a lot of movies and TV shows and social media outlets nowadays that are publishing these things like, women hate you, you're fucking awful, we're hardcore, we're taking over, blah, 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 blah. And I don't really care about the politics of that, whatever. It is scary for young men to see that. They are scared. And with that fear of that type of media, you get this fear of rejection and talking to women that comes out for young men. They've been told for an entire generation of young men that if they talk to a girl in public, they are bothering her. So they shouldn't do that. And so it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that when these young men stop approaching women in public and they're scared to talk to them because they don't want to be seen as a creep, it should not come as a surprise to anybody that we have an entire generation of men who don't feel comfortable approaching women and they're afraid of women a little bit. It shouldn't come as a surprise to any of us. For an entire generation of men, they've been told that you shouldn't do that. That's bad. You're bad if you do that. And sure, you can feel good, bad, or indifferent about that. It still contributes to the fear of rejection that men are feeling. So now that we've discussed the nature of the beast a little bit here, I want to jump in and talk about the actual self-discovery. How do we do it? Tom, how do we get out of this funky slump that we're talking about, where we are afraid and uncertain of approaching women and talking to them? Well, my friend, have I got some stuff for you to do. Here's your homework, okay? I want you to actually sit down. Sit down. And I want you to get out a piece of paper, and I want you to sit down, and I want you to write 10 things that you really like about yourself. 10 things that you love about yourself. 10 hobbies, 10 things that you have that you're interested in, something that you're studying at school. 10 things about yourself that are interesting. I don't even care if you think they're cool. Just write 10 things down on a piece of paper. And I'm being serious. Actually, a piece of paper, pencil, write down 10 things about you that make you who you are, make you cool, make you interesting. So, the step 2 that I want you to practice talking to women. This is by far the hardest part of becoming not afraid of the rejection anymore. You need to actively practice talking to women. Doesn't have to be for the purpose of pursuing a relationship. Just talk to them. I don't care. You can just want to be friends with her. I don't care. Talk to women. You will get less afraid of talking to women as you talk to more women. And I'm not saying go and talk to a whole bunch of women for the purpose of setting up dates with these women. I'm talking about going out and just talking. Just practice communicating. Communication skills. It is a skill to be able to talk to anybody. Period. But in this particular case, you're nervous of getting rejected by women. So, once you start to practice a little bit of that uncertainty is going to get shaved away. A little bit of that fear is going to slip away. But again, that is the hardest part. So first, I want you to sit down and I want you to identify 10 unique things about yourself that are cool. I don't care if it's, I play video games. Here is my top video game moment. I don't care. Or this is my favorite sports ball. I do not care. 10 things about you. Okay? And whenever you're talking or practicing communicating with one of these women, one of these people, I want you to bring up the things that are on this list and practice talking about these things, talking about yourself with these women. Now, the third thing that you're going to do is you are going to approach a woman and try to ask her out on a date. What you are going to do and what you are going to say is exactly what you wrote down and practiced. You are going to talk to her about the things that you enjoy. You're going to ask her about the things that she enjoys, because I promise you, there's not going to be any shortage of things that she enjoys. And I'm not going to lie to you. There's still going to be quite a few women who are going to reject you. That's just the nature of the beast. A problem that I've identified is that there's a lot of young men out there who want to have this really traditional idea of masculinity, and they want to say, hey, I'm super masculine, this is how we're going to do things, I want things done this way. However, they're afraid to get punched in the mouth and then get back up again and try again. That's part of what being a man is from a traditional perspective. And the thing that really perplexes me here, has me perclumped, is that you get the traditional men who are complaining about women rejecting them and having too high of standards. But the traditional view of masculinity would be for you to just get punched in the mouth and then get back up again. The thing with that is that you can't have it both ways. You have to pick one or the other. But either way is an option. I find it very interesting that a lot of men take that approach. And then the final thing that I want to talk about is embracing the authenticity of who you are as a human being. Once you've made this list, that's who you are. It's about, I want to set you up on a journey here of identifying who you are as a human being, because it's important to have an identity. You can't expect to go out and find a partner and things like that if you don't even know who you are. You need to know, what am I? Who am I as a person? Do I like video games? Do I like sports? What sports do I like? Who am I? What am I? Do I like skincare products? Just come up with things that you can say are, yeah, this is me. And one sweet Jesus important rule is never lie to a person that you want to be in a relationship with. Don't lie about who you are. I don't care what your reason is. If you're just trying to get in somebody's pants and you're lying, okay, whatever. But accept that that relationship is never going anywhere if you do that. You need to be open, honest, and authentic about your identity and who you are as a person. And only once you're willing to do that are you going to begin to attract women who are interested in you, who are interested in going out on dates with you, or men, if that's what you're into, one or the other. And that's just how it's going to be. So, to conclude, you need to practice talking to people that you're interested in. You need to come up with a list of things that are unique about you, that you really enjoy, that you're cool with telling people about. You need to practice telling people those things. And then also, you need to engage in a little bit of honesty with yourself and talk about, well, are these things applicable to this situation? Do people like hearing them? And that's where the practice comes in. You need to practice being able to tell people these things so that you can be ready to go when the time comes to actually talk about yourself. I find that a lot of young men really struggle to tell people about the things that they're interested in and who they are as a person. And also, remember to hit that subscribe button. Remember to hit the bell notification, because these videos are coming out once a week. I've started to really get into the swing here of weekly posts. And of course, I'm going to see you guys next time. Have a nice night, everybody. Bye.